Hi, everybody. My name's Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahoo and the Torah channel. We thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. It is a weekday, and we are going over the word of our Messiah, and it is a wonderful word. We are the family who believes what, Cade?
The law, saving commands are for all generations, that we don't need them anymore, that they are blessed. Everything we have should be to live for the commands, and that the commands should be what our goal is to complete what we should be doing as Yahushua did. We should be living to walk perfectly as we can.
And who's our Messiah, Eli?
He is the son of the Creator. His name is Yehoshua Mashiach. His name is not Jesus because there are no J's in Hebrew. His original Hebrew name is Yehoshua.
Yes. And so here we are, guys. And so we will read a spectacular reading today, and we will begin right here. And this is... Actually, I need to go up to. So we are starting. This is chapter 16. So this will be titled 16a. Okay. Yahushua departed from where he was and moved over to the water in Yehuda, across the Yarden. And here 2 crowds gathered about him to hear his message. Many of the usual questions were asked and similar answers given. That sounds very weird. And here 2 crowds? I think that 2 is actually the wrong 2. I think it needs to be TWO.
Yeah, probably.
Because if not, it would be...
Maybe or all
And
just saying.
the crowds gather around.
Maybe it's saying like, and maybe there's like they also gather around him. The crowds also gather around, like, and they 2 gather around.
And here 2 crowds gathered around him. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like, and here 2. Oh, maybe it is here 2. They're okay. So where they are, yeah. So it's not talking about 2 different crowds. It's talking about 2 crowds. And as usual, questions were asked and similar answers were given. And so we know what those have been because he's kind of repeated a lot of these same things over and over. One man put this question to him. Great teacher, is it lawful according to the great Torah for a man to put away his wife? For there are other laws concerning this. Yahushua said, What did one of the great lawgivers, speaking with the authority of Elohim, say about this matter? The man answered, The Torah he gave permitted a severance deed to be made, and with this the wife is divorced. Yahushua said, Such laws are needful while men are without wisdom. I assure you it will not be so when the rule of Elohim comes. They are made for those who cannot overcome differences by compassion and understanding. Where there is no feeling, there cannot be love. Divorce is decreed for the failures in love. Okay? That is an explanation, right? And where there is no feeling, and many people end up in a relationship and in a marriage or of some kind, and there is no feeling there, right? And they don't have what is real love. And real love is one of those hard things that it's hard to describe. But you know it when it's there, and you definitely know it when it is not there. 6. Since the beginning, there have been male and female, each needing the other for fulfillment and spiritual flowering. For this reason, a man leaves his parents and unites with a woman, so the 2 become one in flesh and ruach. The flesh is easily parted, but with the united ruach, it is different. Therefore, when 2 are joined together in the union of love, let no act of man sever them from each other. Okay, you guys catching this?
Yeah.
What do you guys got?
Basically, 2 people are united in spirit. No man should separate these people. It's something that Yah has put together. When a man and woman truly love each other, they are it's put together by Yah.
Yeah, and it is more spiritual than it is a physical thing. It is where you are supposed to be bonding 2 ruachs, 2 spirits. So you're female, then male. They're supposed to be bonded through this. Okay, 7. Fornication occurs in marriage as well as outside of it. For marriage is much more than the union of flesh. And whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery and ruach against the one who is his true wife. Should a wife divorce her husband and marry another, she too commits spiritual adultery. Okay? Anyone have any questions on this?
Basically, when you get divorced and you go and find someone else, you are committing adultery.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're divorced, and you also make her an adulteress as well. 8. Marriage has a much greater significance than this depraved generation realizes. For it enters into marriage thoughtlessly and irresponsibly, and then cries, loose us from our obligations, for we have failed and cannot stand the bonds of the covenant. And
It's by worse now than it was then.
yeah, and nowadays it's very, very easy. I mean, people get married and then they get divorced the next day, literally. You can go get an overnight marriage in Vegas. You don't need anything. People shack up all the time, and they're all they marry up, and then they run away from it. And so that isn't what real marriage is. Marriage is the bonding and the combining of two separate people, the spirit, not a physical thing. 9. After this, a disciple came to Yahushua and said, Master, enlighten me. If there can be fornication in a marriage blessed by tradition and priest, do a man and woman commit greater fornication if unblessed? Okay, so the question is, does it matter if a priest blesses them or not, is what the question is. 10. Yahushua said, marriage is the blending of two ruach. Fornication is the joining of flesh. Nothing done or not done changes this. But if a man and woman be married in the sight of Yahuwah and not before a priest, let this union not be lightly put apart. For I assure you that no future marriage blessed by priest or otherwise will be a marriage in Ruach. It will be no more than fornication.
You said a marriage in front of a man is kind of useless.
Yeah.
If it's not before Yahuwah, then it's just going to be cheating on each other.
Yeah, the only thing that a marriage before a man does is get you legal in whatever country we are all captive in. Right? Wherever we have woke up and we are in captivity. A lot of us are in North America, which is Babylon. A lot of us are in other places, and everybody has rules for marriage. You go before somebody, you pay them, $25 to get a marriage certificate, and you go before a judge or you go before a priest or something, and they, legally they put you together. And at that legal point, that really means nothing. And when it comes to spirit, I mean, you can have a priest do this, but if your spirits are not bonded, if you do not have that marriage ruach togetherness, the marriage will never ever make it. 11. The following morning, Yahushua and 5 disciples had not gone far along the road when a man came running after them, saying, Master, what must I do to know the joys of immortality and glory? I know you teach goodness, but though I do my best, I find it difficult among so many pleasures. Yeah, this is one of these things, right? It's hard, right? We live in a world of lots and lots and lots of pleasures. You can do what you want to do in this world, but that is what free will is all about. Free will has been given to us so that we are able to either accept and obey our Creator, or we can live like hell and end up in hell and do whatever we want to do, right? So there's only one way in. 12. Yahushua said, you have the commandments of Moshe. Keep these faithfully as interpreted by the fullness of the Torah. But to these, 2 more are now added, which shall be just as faithfully obeyed. Act towards your others as you would have them act towards you, and love your neighbor as yourself.
We pretty much already had those commands.
Yeah, we have. We've heard this before. Well, I mean, Messiah has told us this before, right? Love our neighbor as ourselves, and
But he didn't say it was the only 2 commandments.
he did not say it was the only 2 commands.
He said follow them all, and then I add these 2 for you.
Yes, exactly. And the Christians will go, well, there's only 2 commandments, and they believe that loving their neighbor as themselves and loving our Creator with all their heart, mind, and soul are the only 2 commandments that they have, while they obviously don't love our Creator with all their heart, mind, and soul, because there are a ton of commandments, and if you did love Him with all your heart, mind, and soul, you would love His commandments. Okay, 13. The man said, if only I could be as good as you. Yahushua answered, do not call me good, for no man made in the mold of man is wholly good. If I were not made in the same mold as man, I would not be subjected to his tests and trials, and without overcoming these, could not be wholly good either. Okay, so
So a lot of people want to say that he didn't have, he wasn't human. He said he was human. He said
Yeah.
he has exact things everyone else has to fight, but he has to overcome them to show that he is good.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. And so Messiah didn't have the special get out of pain card or have no emotion card or any of that stuff. He was fully man and had to deal with this in these same kind of situations. Okay, 15. When the man had gone, one of the disciples who came from beyond the western sea said, I have heard that 3 things only make men wholly good, but you have many holy books which I cannot read. Tell me of the things which are in them. Okay, now this is very, very important, and I think this next verse is I don't know, it really hit home. But this is what it says. Yahushua said, store these things in your heart. They are sufficient for the day. Never utter curses against Yahuwah or the powers about him, nor speak immodestly to exalt yourself. Okay, so the question this guy asked was, what are in these books, right? This guy was obviously not able to read, or he didn't have the scrolls. And so he wanted to know what are in these books. Messiah says the first thing, and this is for somebody who doesn't have anything, right? If you've never been trained up in Torah, if you've never been trained in anything, let us begin right here, right? Number one, never utter curses against Yahuwah or the powers about him. What are the powers about our Creator?
His Ruach, it would be...
Yeah, the Ruach HaKodesh, right? And we know that if we blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh, it is going to get us into a lot of problems. So the very first thing he says is don't utter curses against the powers about him and speak immodestly to exalt yourself. There's two things right here.
So basically, don't speak against Yahuwah's power, speak about what he does.
Yeah, and don't bring yourself up where you shouldn't be.
You're going to be judged for cursing your Creator.
Right, and you were actually gone for this one, but this is the question on this one, Jade, is that this guy was asking him. This is a guy who did not seem to have Torah or did not know how to read the scrolls. He asked Messiah, tell me of the things which are in them. And Messiah, the very first thing he says is don't utter curses against Yahuwah and speak immodestly to exalt yourself.
So is he talking about the Torah, these books he can't read, or?
Yeah, he's like, what are in these books, right? And so my dogs are.
I thought maybe he's talking about a special book or something. Maybe something he never read before.
And most of these guys, Jade, or for everybody out there, are unlearned, right? They don't have schooling like we had. They don't know how to write and read and things of that nature. And so that is the thing. Okay, the second thing: do not act fraudulently and never exaggerate. Okay, so we have two separate things, right? So if we had nothing else and we just needed how to behave a little bit, what we were told not to act fraudulently and never exaggerate. Now, what is exaggeration? What is another form of exaggeration? What is that?
Like lying?
Like a lie?
I guess.
It's like the big fish story, right? The fish just keeps getting bigger and bigger every time you tell the story, right? It's don't exaggerate, right? The truth is the truth, and anything outside of the truth is a lie. It doesn't matter how small of the lie, it is still a lie. Okay, here's the next thing he says. Always maintain an even temper and do not act hastily. Well, by that, I am myself, and I am going to be damned to the pits of hell. I have a bad temper, I am very impatient, and I act very hastily. So for this one-liner, this one is definitely me. Okay, now let's continue on. Never use, one second here. All right, continue on. Never use violence unnecessarily, nor do anything causing unnecessary sorrow. Okay.
So basically, you can use violence if it's necessary.
Well, that's what Messiah said. I mean,
try to defend yourself. Don't start the fight, though.
Bro, yeah, don't start the fight. There's always a cause for some sort of violence in a particular situation. It has to be the right situation. If you're walking down the road and your life is in danger and somebody's going to mug you and kill you, you might want to use violence at that point, or you might just tell them peace be with you and take a kill, whatever it's going to be. But there are times to use violence, and Messiah clearly says that, and he said that before, right? Before he's like, hey, sell your sword and cloak, and then the next one he's like, if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. And Peter goes, is 2 swords enough? And Messiah's like, yeah, that's enough. We can do that. Okay, let's continue on. Never use violence unnecessarily, nor do anything causing unnecessary sorrow. Unnecessary sorrow. That means you guys are, whatever it is you're doing, causing unnecessary sorrow to your friends, to your family, to anyone out there. Whatever it is, if your family is in sorrow about your actions, then you are leading your family to destruction, right? Whether it be you're the child or something else, if you have attitudes that bring your family to sorrow days in, then that's things we have to commit to, that we don't want to bring them sorrow, because we're bringing other people down constantly with it. And when we bring them down, we may never, ever be able to bring them up. And if it's us that's doing it, we got to figure this out. Okay, continuing on. Avoid anything to do with lewdness and obscenity, right? So there's the boys club, right? The gym club. Obscenity, all the jokes, things of that nature. Lewdness is nakedness, things of that nature, things that would be unholy to our Creator. Very, very important things that he is talking about right here, Messiah, that is very important to his dad. Commit no slander and speak no gossip, right? If you're sitting on Facebook, I don't know how you could ever not know or speak gossip if you're hanging out with people of that nature. That's what Facebook and all those things are about. Never make mischief, so strife is brought into the lives of others, right? Don't destroy other people's lives. Tell no lies. Be humble and without being servile, and be clean in all ways. So does being clean mean you need to take a shower every single night? Or what does that mean?
Maybe.
And if we don't take a shower every night, are we unclean ceremonially every single night?
Maybe.
Well, we are, right? I mean, isn't that the thing? If we don't shower at night, well, then because part of the being clean at night is to shower, and then you're unclean in Yah's eyes no more. Okay. Be humble without being servile, and be clean in all ways. Whatever you do to earn your bread, do to the best of your ability. Now, Eli, when you earn the best of your bread, when you do every task that you do, are you doing it to the very best of your ability? Are we all doing that?
Probably not.
Probably not. Sometimes, though. If we are not doing the very best of our abilities, then right out of the gate, we're breaking be fruitful Torah commands, right? We're told to be fruitful. We are told to be in all our ways. And if we're messing with our daily obligations, it's a problem. We need to do the best of our ability. Fulfill all your daily obligations. There we go. And in the time left to you, serve a cause which is good. So, instead of screwing around all day long, why doesn't we just get our jobs done? And then when we have that time done, then we can serve a good cause, right? We can go minister to people, but we need to take care of our daily stuff all the time. And that's Mr. Cole throwing stuff around in the kitchen. Okay. And let's continue on. And these to the teachings you have heard, add these to the teachings you have heard, and you will live a good life. Okay, these are very, very important things Messiah just said. Okay, anyone have any kind of updates on this?
Basically, you just wrapped up in the entire Torah in one. That's basically how kind of like the Torah summed up. If you had to condense it as small as you could, tell as fast as you could, that'd probably be the best way to do it.
Absolutely, because
but you just add you just add basically keep the faith in Yahushua in the end. You just add that to the end of that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. This is beautiful. Okay, 17. And another disciple said, a good man soon loses his friends. Yahushua replied, no, goodness, like adversity, winnows them. Okay, anyone want to explain this?
Basically, good friends will stay around. Good friends will be strengthened.
Yeah, well, like winnowing. If you winnow something, you sort it out. There's not as much as what there is, right? A good man soon loses his friends, and the Messiah says, no, goodness, like adversity, winnows them.
Basically, lose your friends due to goodness. No?
If you're too good, right? And that's a lot of these people in this world like you for what you have and not for who you are. Right, and that's where most of the people come in. There's so many different users in this world. Okay, 19. One of the other disciples said, "It is very difficult to live a life which is wholly good." Yahushua answered, "It is even more difficult to enter into the greater life of the Ruach." The word surprised those hearing them, but Yahushua assured the disciples about him that it was true, adding, "Nothing worthwhile is ever easily gained." Okay, now he's talking about the Shaimaim. He's talking about this. But I would say this is the same for everything else in life. If you think that anything in life is easy, it's not. Anything good takes time. It takes patience. It takes building. It takes critiquing. It takes a lot of it. Good things just don't come popping in. You have to work for them. And so that is the same for the kingdom. If you think you can eat your pork, worship on Sunday, violate the laws of our Creator, not care what He says, not care anything about what His Son says, you're not going to gain something worthwhile because you're avoiding it. 22. Yahushua said, "Let all those who can do so empty themselves of evil. The deeds are outside, but the thoughts are within. By striving hard and chastening the flesh, not yielding to the call of its lust, the soul is strengthened by an inflow of spiritual food."
So basically, if you deny the fleshly lust, your spirit will be strengthened.
Yeah, if you guys are able to put down the video games, right? Put down the evil in your life. Put down the pornography. Put down all of this stuff, right? That is the lust of your guys' souls. Now, would you guys go as far as on the world, the people who get involved in, say, the video games, the guys that can't stop with the video games, is that a lust of the soul?
Yeah.
I mean, when people can't put away video games and it causes tears and frustration and anguish and upsettedness, is that good stuff or is that bad? Is that soul food or is this stuff that's going to people lose the kingdom?
kingdom losing stuff.
I mean, and that's the same for all of this other stuff. If you cannot put down pornography, you're not going to have the inflow of spiritual food. 23. Then Yahushua asked the disciples with him if all understood that unless they could pass the tests of the flesh, they could not know heaven. All replied that they understood. Now, that question, do you guys understand that? Kate, Jade, Eli? Myself.
I think we understand it.
If you cannot pass the test of the flesh, you will not know the Shamayim, right? Very important stuff to understand. We need to get our ways right in everything. 24. A disciple asked, how long must men be subject to death? Yahushua replied, so as long as women bear children. Another asked, what is the food of the Ruach? Yahushua said, the truly hungry man eats bitter things and enjoys them. Even so does the hungry Ruach thrive on the bitterness of the world. The body is not nourished by bitterness and therefore enjoys food supplied by every healthful plant. If the Ruach is to be made healthy, the body must be subdued. For either the body is master or the Ruach is.
So basically, either your body is your master or your Ruach is your master.
Yeah.
And you basically have to make a decision. Do you want to live like the world or do you want to be in the kingdom?
Yeah.
Because whatever you make your decision now depends on how your eternal life will be like.
Absolutely. And if you're sucking down that bacon and enjoying that, that is not the food of the Spirit. Okay. I think we have one more verse, two more verses. One of the women, Salome, who had accompanied the disciples, asked Yahushua, is it within the Torah for a man to marry and yet not lie with his wife? Interesting question. Yahushua answered, it is never done right to live falsely or to dishonor a pledge. Always let be done accord with the intention declared. All right, so we'll leave it at that, but let's answer that question. Let's talk about this. What did she just ask? So this is obviously another wife, right? A dude that had multiple wives would be my guess is the question on this. And she's asking him, is it right? Is it within the Torah to marry but yet not lie with his wife? What examples do we have?
I don't recall any example. I mean, if he made an oath.
Well, we know of the sons of Yehuda, right?
Yeah.
They were supposed to go into their wives and didn't, and it was evil in the sight of Yah, right? And doing things of that nature. And that's all we have is we have Torah, and so
We're told to bear fruit and multiply.
yeah, bear fruit and multiply. And the Messiah's answer on this: it is never right to live falsely or to dishonor a pledge. So the answer is no. It's not. It's not. The answer is yes. The answer for her is yes. Is it within the Torah for a man to no? The answer for her is no. Is it within the Torah for a man to marry and yet not lie with his wife? According to Messiah Yahushua, no. That is not right. Okay. Anyone else have anything?
I don't think so. Read your Bibles.
Read your Bibles, and we love you all. We hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for everything. Much love.
We'll see you guys preparation day tomorrow.
Yep.
See you.
Preparation day tomorrow. All right.